How's it going, peeps? It is now time for the Raw results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the results, some of the highlights in my opinion, and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So it kicks off with Triple H coming out, and actually the Shield is already at ringside to serve as, I guess, security for Triple H. He goes in the ring, and he shows us the footage of SummerSlam where Randy beat Daniel Bryan for the championship and says that was business. And then he shows the footage from last week where they were making fun of Daniel Bryan, and then he got in the ring and Randy RKO'd him. He says that was personal because of Daniel Bryan disrespecting his wife, disrespecting him, disrespecting his family. Fast forward a little bit, he talks about the ratings, how the ratings are through the roof now that, there's change or Randy's champion. And eventually he introduces Randy, who comes out, and then he congratulates Randy Orton on winning the title, and he actually says he has a gift for him, and that he got this off of his own pocket, and he brings out a Cadillac Escalade for Randy on the stage. Randy thanks Triple H. Daniel Bryan comes out, he makes fun of Randy, and he also talks about how Triple H used to be the rebel, and now he's this sellout in a suit. And eventually, it leads to Triple H making a match, pretty much another gauntlet match with Daniel Bryan. It's going to be Daniel Bryan versus all three members of the Shield. Seth Rollins first. If he makes it through Seth Rollins, it's going to be Dean Ambrose. And after Dean Ambrose, it's going to be Roman Reigns. And I think that was it. So, he said, he made that match because he believes in Daniel Bryan, and he was making fun of Daniel Bryan too, and also, he says he believes it's because he believes in Daniel Bryan, and he also believes it's what's best for business, speaking about this matchup. Following that, before that, they showed footage of the CM Punk and Curtis Axel fight from last week, and they gave the fans the option to vote for tonight's match between CM Punk and Curtis Axel, and the choice pretty much was you could choose if Paul Heyman would be the special guest referee, if Paul Heyman would be banned from ringside, or if CM Punk wins the matchup, then he gets a match with Paul Heyman. He gets Paul Heyman in the ring, and of course you can vote on that on the app. And then following that was a matchup between Cody Rhodes and Fandango, and Damien Sandow was on commentary. On commentary, Michael Cole said something along the lines that Damien Sandow's briefcase looked like, a piece of chocolate. But anyways, as far as how the match ended, Fandango's music actually hit during the matchup, and The Miz came out dancing with Rosa Mendez, which distracted Fandango, which allowed Cody Rhodes to roll him up for the 1-2-3 and win the matchup. But then, Damien Sandow got in the ring to attack Cody, but The Miz made the save, and that's what led to Brad Maddox actually taking a page out of Teddy Long's playbook and making a tag team match between the four superstars, The Miz teaming up with Cody versus Damien Sandow and Fandango. And Miz and Cody actually win the matchup when Fandango ditches and leaves Damien Sandow on his own. To end the match, Cody grabbed Damien Sandow's foot from the outside. The Miz then followed that with the skull-crushing finale for the 1-2-3. And after the victory, Fandango was on the stage and said, "It's Fandango." Afterwards, you had a vignette for the Lost Matadors, and then you had a backstage interview with Josh Matthews, interviewing Christian. And he asked him about, his thoughts on what's been happening in the whole Triple H, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan situation. Christian says that's a dangerous question considering what's been happening, lately. But anyways, he talks a bit about his scars from the Attitude Era, or actually the McMahon-Helmsley era. And anyways, Randy Orton ends up interrupting him, and he also brings up SummerSlam. He says that tonight Christian's going to be a loser, just like at SummerSlam, while Randy's going to be a winner, just like he won at SummerSlam. They're pretty much saying that they're gonna have a match on Raw, which is awesome by me. And I was just talking about a Randy Orton versus Christian match at this moment. Yesterday or whatever, when I posted up the Christian versus Randy Orton online matchup part 2. So that's pretty damn cool. But anyways, afterwards, CM Punk came out for his matchup against Curtis Axel. And then Paul Heyman also came out to find out the stipulation, and the stipulation by the fans, or the stipulation that the fans chose, was actually Paul Heyman having to face CM Punk in the ring if CM Punk were to win against Curtis Axel. And also that freaking reminds me, I forgot, before this match actually took place, had Josh Matthews pretty much asking CM Punk which option he'd like to see the best, and pretty much he said he'd like to see option C the best, rather than Paul Heyman as a special guest referee or banned from ringside. And Curtis Axel, he was backstage with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was upset over it being a choice, it being a vote. And Curtis Axel tells Paul Heyman not to worry about it because CM Punk is going to have to out-wrestle Curtis Axel, and Curtis Axel says CM Punk can't out-wrestle him. So Curtis Axel then asks Paul Heyman if he believes him, and Paul Heyman says yes, he believes him, like his life depends on it. Anyways, as far as the match goes, yeah, like I said, the winning votes was option C, where CM Punk beats Curtis Axel. He gets Paul Heyman in the ring, and that won by a large margin. Like I think he got like 87% or something like that. And at the end of the match, CM Punk actually won with the go to sleep. And then Paul Heyman, by the way, like during the whole match, was on the stage looking on. Paul Heyman wanted nothing to do with CM Punk, of course, so he tried to leave, but then the referees dragged him back to the stage, and then CM Punk got out of the ring, was walking towards Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman tried to leave. Once again, he went backstage, but this time security brought him out, and they brought him out all the way back into, actually at ringside, and that's when CM Punk grabbed Paul Heyman. He put him back in the ring, or put him in the ring, and he had his hands on him. But Curtis Axel came back in the ring and low-blowed CM Punk from behind. Then actually has a pair of, handcuffs. He handcuffs CM Punk, and I think at this point, Paul Heyman tells Curtis Axel to turn him around, or actually, he wants to see his face. He starts yelling at CM Punk. CM Punk gets up and actually kicks Curtis Axel in the head, and he kicks Paul Heyman in the leg, and then starts kicking him a bunch of times while he's down. But Curtis Axel comes back in and hits CM Punk with a steel chair. And then I think he actually went ahead and grabbed a cane, a Singapore cane, and started hitting CM Punk. Oh no, actually, he gave the Singapore cane to Paul Heyman. My bad. Give it to Paul Heyman. And then he grabbed CM Punk. He went on the apron and grabbed CM Punk while Paul Heyman was hitting CM Punk in the guts a bunch of times with the Singapore cane. And then they actually went outside with CM Punk, where I think CM Punk rolled out the ring, and Paul Heyman kept hitting him with the Singapore cane. And that was it for the segment. Afterwards, it was Natalya versus Brie Bella. Natalya accompanied by the Funkadactyls, Brie Bella accompanied by Nikki and Eva Marie. JoJo did the ring announcing. And Natalya had the sharpshooter locked in, but Brie Bella was getting closer and closer to the ropes until Nikki actually dragged Brie out of the ring, which also caused Natalya to kind of hit her back on the ropes. And then Brie Bella got back in the ring, hit a face buster on Natalya, went for the cover, and won the match. After the match, AJ comes out, and she got a good promo. She pretty much dissed every single one of the Total Divas, or every single one of the Divas on the show, and said that they're all replaceable, and they, went to reality television because they weren't talented enough to be champions. She also states that she's done more in 1 year than they've all done in their career, and that she saved the Divas division, and that she ended the promo by saying they'll never be able to touch her, and that's reality. So yeah, that was pretty much it for that pretty awesome promo, and it was followed by Rob Van Dam versus Del Rio, and Ricardo actually took off his tux tuxedo and revealed the Rob Van Dam t-shirts. Rob Van Dam won the matchup when Del Rio was going for the cross arm breaker on Rob Van Dam. So Ricardo, realizing that, he went on the announcer's table to try and distract Del Rio and started chanting RVD and doing the signal. And that slight distraction allowed Rob Van Dam to counter Del Rio's attempt at the cross arm breaker into a roll up and get the 1-2-3, win the matchup, and Michael Cole announced that Rob Van Dam is now the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship and will be facing off against him for the title at Night of Champions. After that, I think they showed some replays of what happened between, Paul Heyman and CM Punk and Curtis Axel. They showed CM Punk's back, there was some blood actually on his back from all the Singapore cane shots. And Renee Young caught up to Paul Heyman and Curtis Axel backstage to ask him about it. And Paul Heyman, by the way, look, his eyes were like red. It looked like he had been crying or something for a while. But anyways, he said, to sum it up, he said he feels like a father that put his son in his place. And him and Curtis Axel leave in the car, and that was it. But anyways, afterwards, Josh Matthews was trying to interview Ryback, who comes into, the camera shot, and he's like, the big guy. But anyways, Josh Matthews asks him, I guess, why he's bullying people. And Ryback just grabs Josh Matthews by the face and, pushes him to the ground. Then he's like, now I'll find a way to shut you up. And then you had Christian versus Randy Orton. And they had a great match. Christian reversed the RKO twice, I believe. He also went for the spear, which he missed the first time, but then he hit it and got a 2 count though. In the end, Randy Orton hits a thumb DDI to Christian and then follows that up with an RKO to win the matchup. After the match is over with, Daniel Bryan's on the Titantron and you can see the Escalade behind him, Randy's new, car. And Daniel Bryan says, I wonder, if I beat you at Night of Champions, does that mean I'm the new face of the WWE? And then he moves aside and we see that he's written yes. He spray painted yes on the hood of the car. And then he spray painted yes all over the car, on the windows, everywhere. So Daniel Bryan shows off all the yeses while Randy's pissed in the ring. And then he starts chanting yes, 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 and Michael Cole actually makes a comment, something along the lines that it looks like Randy Orton just got himself a new Yescalade. So anyways, after that, they had backstage Randy Orton, Triple H, and Brad Maddox, and they're next to the Cadillac where all the yes on it. And, they're pissed. Triple H tells Brad Maddox that tonight for the gauntlet match to bring out every single superstar on the roster on the stage, and if any one of them interferes in the matchup or looks at the ring sideways, he's going to personally fire them and laugh while doing it. And then following that, the primetime players came out to a pretty good pop, and it was Titus O'Neil versus Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger at some point rolled up Titus O'Neil and put his foot on the ropes, but Darren Young took them off, and Titus O'Neil then hit his spinebuster finisher for the victory, so Titus O'Neil beats Jack Swagger. After that, they have a video of Bray Wyatt cutting a promo on Sister Abigail, and then backstage, CM Punk is refusing medical attention for the doctor, and he tells Brad Maddox he wants a matchup. What he wants is a match with Paul Heyman. So Brad Maddox says, okay, I'll give you a match. It's going to be CM Punk versus Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman in a 2-on-1 handicap elimination match at Night of Champions. He didn't state, though, if it was for the IC Championship or not. But I mean, it is Night of Champions, so it's probably going to be for the IC Championship unless not every single title gets defended at Night of Champions anymore. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, afterwards, it was time for the main event, and they brought out everybody on the stage. And Renee Young was also on the stage, and she started interviewing the Big Show to try and get their thoughts, on the whole situation. So she interviews Big Show first. He doesn't say anything. And then she interviews, I think it was Dolph Ziggler. He doesn't say anything either. Then she interviews The Miz. He starts talking. He says, his thoughts on Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, or Daniel Bryan and Triple H. But then he stops talking and doesn't say anything. So pretty much nobody wants to talk because they don't want to risk getting fired. Anyways, the match was really good. Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, very good matchup. At some point, cool spot in the match, they had Daniel Bryan hit a German suplex from the top rope, and Seth Rollins freaking flipped over onto his stomach, landed onto his stomach from the German suplex. Cool sell there. In the end, Daniel Bryan sets up for his running knee finisher, and he hits it, but the camera didn't get the shot, though. It didn't get him. We didn't see Daniel Bryan hit him with the knee. I think they panned away to, I guess, the stage or either the crowd. I don't remember. But yeah, he hits the finisher, pins Seth Rollins and wins the matchup. So then it's Dean Ambrose, and right away Daniel Bryan pretty much puts in the yes lock, but that's when Roman Reigns gets in and attacks Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan actually puts on the yes lock on Roman Reigns as well, but Dean Ambrose attacks Daniel Bryan, and they all attack Daniel Bryan, and then Roman Reigns hits a spear on Daniel Bryan. They followed that up, I think, with I'm not sure if they follow it up with the triple powerbomb right away. Actually, I think Triple H comes out first. And when Triple H comes out, he looks at the stage, everybody at the stage. He stares down the Big Show, stares down Dolph Ziggler, to see if they have anything to say or if they'll do anything. And then he gives a nod, and the Shield then triple powerbombs Daniel Bryan. And then Randy Orton comes out, stands on the stage for a short while until going into the ring. The Shield pick Daniel Bryan up for Randy, and Randy hits the RKO on Daniel Bryan. And I think that was it. Randy then just left the ring and posed with the championship on top of the stage and left with Triple H as the Shield stood tall over Daniel Bryan. So that was it for Raw. And yeah, you know what? Tonight's Raw was a great freaking show. Great show. We really enjoyed Raw tonight. A bunch of big matches on the show. Good matches too. I mean, you had Christian versus Randy Orton. I was just talking about that, yesterday. And you had Rob Van Dam versus Del Rio in a non-title match. You also had Daniel Bryan in the gauntlet match. And highlights of the night, one of the highlights for me was definitely the AJ promo. Her promo was pretty good. Actually, the crowd was chanting AJ during the promo. And it was just a good show overall. Raw the past couple of weeks has been really good. Really don't have too many complaints. And also, they had, the Curtis Axel, Paul Heyman, Curtis Axel versus CM Punk, and then, the attack afterwards. The attack kind of lasted long. Even with that, it was still pretty cool. And, in the end, actually, the crowd was chanting for the Big Show to go help out, Daniel Bryan. And I was also hoping Big Show would do something. I wanted Big Show to go out there and help Daniel Bryan out. It was just a good show, and like I said, I have really nothing bad to say. You know what? I'm going to give this Raw a 9 out of 10. I really thought it was a good show. Really thought it was a good Raw. And, yeah. So, it also looks like my match card prediction video for Night of Champions, the CM Punk versus Curtis Axel, looks like it was wrong. It looks like it's gonna be, well, Brian Maddox said it's gonna be CM Punk versus Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman in a handicap match. I'm just wondering if it's gonna be for the IC title or not. Also, as far as the gameplay on this review, if you guys want to see more gameplay like this, if you want to see part 2 of that Christian versus Randy Orton match, which is a very good online matchup, it's on my channel, and I'll soon upload part 3 and part 4 of the online matchup. Anyways, that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And with that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.